Go. So, Jessica, I asked the question, if you were the empress of public media, what would you advise the system to do? And secondly, what do you think are the 2 or 3 big things that we all need to take into account?
Well, first of all, I'd say all the answers are in this futureofpublicmedia.net document that we've just come out with. And I think actually being the empress would be undemocratic, and we're really all about bottom-up technology and media, and the role that publics can play in redefining and making and distributing public media. So, first thing I would do is I would renounce my throne, and instead I would create a sort of a system for public media that was centralized and decentralized at the same time. So what I would really like to see, and so one of the things that we discuss a bit in the paper is Public Media 2.0 as a new formulation, a new understanding, where people realize the importance of media and democracy, recognize it, it's got funding streams, but it's not a closed system, it's not a top-down gate-kept system. Instead, it would be like a societal backbone for engagement, for recommendation, for problem solving. And so if we imagine a sort of a nationally coordinated engagement platform where people could dynamically self-organize around issues that are important to their community, important to the world. Global warming comes to mind, economic crisis, for example.
Yes.
And find the resources and the information and to understand the problems and to solve them together.
It sounds like a relaunch of public radio and television in the modern context. Would that be fair?
Yeah, exactly. So the way that it would really work is public radio and public television might be the part of the content that you would use to address these issues, but they wouldn't be the end point.
Right.
And it's not really even engagement like it is now, where you add the outreach onto the end of the production cycle.
Yeah.
Publics would be involved from the beginning through the end of the media creation process.
So maybe public media as it currently exists might be a part of the backbone and a major component. But we're talking about something that is broader and different in nature, in that it's a two-way rather than a one-way. So
and partially that's a matter of how the tools work. You know, broadcast by its very nature was not conversational. They had to force it to be conversational, or bring it into context like screenings or call-in shows where people could engage with it. Now, that's no longer the case. We have this capacity, and what we argue in the paper is it's really a capacity that political philosophers and media experts have been looking for all along in terms of the public role of media.
What would be a good place to start, do you think?
I think that in terms of current examples, the election map that the public broadcasting folks did over this last cycle was an interesting starting point, just in terms of bringing content together online from the various platforms and various producers. The problem with it is it was interactive, but it wasn't participatory. You could mess around with it, but you couldn't contribute. So I think if you graph that on to something like the models that you're seeing at sites like Talking Points Memo or Daily Kos or even Huffington Post, CNN iReport, graphed it on so that the conversation continues and people can upload their own information, and even Change.gov was a great example of how people were given an open platform to organize around their self-interest and graft it onto politics. Not everything has to be about politics; it can be about culture, but you know, those same sort of capacities I think are important.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.